Hello and welcome to the Gust Beam podcast. The Gust Beam? Gust of Wind.
That's what you think of yourself so much, man. I bet you think this pod is about you, don't you?
I'm kind of a big deal, man. I'm kind of a big deal. I can't lie to you. I mean, come on now. Have you seen my Twitter?
No.
Popping off.
It's been popping off. I'm kind of a big deal. I should apply for content creator. I should have did it, man. That's what I should have did. Like, I wish we had like more content creators we could put on the podcast. We knew people we can invite to the podcast.
All right, we're not doing the Blue's Clues things. We're not doing the Blue's Clues things.
Yeah. We are joined by Sean for the win, TCG. Sean, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, man.
It's like mandatory that you come on.
Yeah, tradition at this point. It's the third time, right?
Be on every season. Yeah, third time. Season 3, third time. We took a little hiatus, year and a half off, but I mean, who's counting?
Nobody knows. It's all right.
Oh my god.
But no, you guys are gentlemen. You guys are looking really snazzy today, Sean. I see the hair, a little slick back going on. It's a late night over there. You don't have any plans after this, do you?
No. Of course, yes. It's a bit late to make sure we can work for this, but yeah, I'll make time for you guys all the time, man. It's all good.
You're looking real good. And Steuben, your hair looks very like there's a lot of volume to it today. You look really good, Steuben.
Yeah,
very full.
I'm freshly drawn by Clam Burglar.
Shout out to Clam Burglar, man. Your hair looks like immaculate. It's lovely, man. Lovely.
No,
Steuben, anything big happened?
Real talk. I think I either have COVID or something going on, so I just don't want to be seen, and I want everyone to see me like blow my nose or like hack up a lung every couple seconds. So
we don't want to see the snot oozing out, and, dripping down.
Not trying to get flagged for gross stuff on YouTube.
That'd be quite funny. I think I didn't even notice the difference. It's fine.
Yeah, no one will know.
It looks just like him. It looks just like him. No one will know.
Gorgeous.
No one will be none the wiser. Steuben, we haven't talked in a couple of weeks, man. Anything new besides being sick? Anything else been happening? Or you ran a cup last weekend, didn't you?
Yeah. It was pretty small. We only had 16 players, so nothing too crazy. 5 of which were juniors and seniors. So.
Oh, okay.
Other than that, nope. Okay. I start my new days off technically today and tomorrow with work every week for the foreseeable future. So I'm excited to have time off and put it towards content or just being alive, whatever.
So you have Mondays and Sundays off now.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So that means we'll have podcasts out, episodes every week now, correct?
That's not up to us. You almost didn't want to do this because you're like, I gotta go win a cup. I gotta win a cup every week, or I'm Gazer Beam 2K.
Every month, I was going for every month. This month I got a top 8 and I got a second place, so I didn't pull it off this month. And there was one more today. I'm like, no, I had to help a buddy coach his basketball game, and then I can't pass up a moment with Sean, man. I can't pass this up. So I was like, the cup's got to be won by someone else.
Well, I'm proud of you for being able to put that down.
I appreciate it.
Put the cup down. I put the cup down, man. I did it. But no, I took an 8th and a second place, but I couldn't win one. But John, what have you been up to, man? What's new with you?
It's been relatively busy actually. Obviously preparing for Journey Together, which is now here. Last week I did a pre-release event for what would be now my locals. Finally, I know we spoke about originally before about not playing IRL and stuff. But found a place. It's about an hour or so away from me on the train. So it's somewhere I'm willing to go. Got some mates there already. Someone who's a fan of the channel spoke to me ahead of time. Gary, if you're watching, hello. He reached out to me and just gave me some info and stuff. And yeah, it was really, really nice, man. Really nice to see a lot of people who are fans of the content there. And also just to play, man. So yeah, done that on the weekend just before and got battered because I didn't get Cramorant. The absolute just top Donny of pre-release, ridiculous card. Yeah. Really and then this weekend just gone, I literally just got back today from a weekend trip up to, it's a place called Yarmouth, Great Yarmouth, in the UK, which is just a lovely like coastal place you can go to. It's like a caravan holiday, we call it. You got like a little, like loads of caravans or trailers, I guess you'd call them, right? And like just like a little hub of like a little entertainment center, a pool and all that. But we just like did that with the family to celebrate my cousin's daughter's first birthday. And it was great, man. Went to like a wildlife park, had a good time. I saw a seal in the wild for the first time ever. Just went to the beach and there's a seal just lounging there,
just chilling on a rock. Just what's up?
Just look on the beach. Like you could just walk on the beach, just there, just like
on the
lying
beach,
down.
just like
yeah, chilling, absolutely chilling. I was like, what? This is insane. I'm a bit of a naturist. Not as much as my brother, but a bit of a naturist. So I went down to it and just got a little picture of it and stuff like that. I was like, this is so cool. And then went on my day. But yeah, literally just got back today. And now here we are. So it's been quite a busy couple of weeks actually.
Yeah, well, hey, man, I'm glad you got to, touch grass, as they say. I guess you touch sand instead. So I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, just a step below, but I'll take it. But yeah, that's what I've done. Yeah,
yeah. No, I'm here. I promise. I
know.
Conserving my
so
energy.
During this episode, if Subin's a bit quiet, he's either blowing his nose, coughing, or he has died. So yeah, I guess I'll have to carry this episode.
If I die, I'll change my image to like a corpse or something.
Just have tombstones as RIP on it.
I mean, I could do one better. You said you saw a seal, right? Did you happen to watch our last episode?
Wait,
no.
Relax, man. Come on. That's not even a seal, man. That's not even
how about I introduce you to Don Bozo EX?
Oh, I've seen that. I have seen that. Yes. Was it on Twitter?
That's not even a seal, man. Come on, man. That's like a whale.
Don Gazer, mate. Don Gazer.
Nah, Don Bozo sounds way better.
Oh, Don Bozo? Yeah, much better. Yeah, 100%.
All right, we'll stick with this for a little bit.
Bring back Sexy Subin, man. No, bring back Sexy Subin. I want him back, man.
All right.
Oh, Don Bozo. No. Oh, I have to deal with the good-looking one. All right, fine.
But no, for the win. For anyone who doesn't know, this is For the Win, man. This is Sean. He is a fantastic YouTuber, IRL player now. He's competed in a EUIC this past season, and last time we caught up with you, last time we talked, the very first time we talked with you, the YouTube channel was doing pretty well, and then the second time it was doing pretty well, and now look at you.
It's good.
Now look at you. I think in the last 3 months, maybe you had one of your biggest YouTube videos ever.
Yeah, yes. These past 2 months, since is it what's the one we had just before? Surging Sparks, right? Since that came out, the channel has just done so much better already on its own. My channel's biggest videos have come from the past 2 months. I think it was like for Alligator, that's 50 odd K or something like that, and then Badu Frost Last, which was like 80 odd K. Completely overtook my biggest one up to date, which was like Blastoise, which is crazy because usually the bigger videos are the ones that of like fan favorite Pokemon, of like favorite starters, Charizards, whatever it is. Gengar's really good.
Charizards, Greninjas, Gengars, yeah.
But yeah, this one just completely skyrocketed actually, in terms of viewership in this space in such a short time. So it's been really good recently. Yeah,
it feels like now your floor is like 10K, which is still fantastic for such a niche inside of a niche.
It really is.
Yeah.
It is. I guess it is a niche in a niche, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're the smaller portion of Pokemon card stuff. The big part,
100%.
We're not the finance, people or the rip and shippers or whatever. So we're at the bottom of the barrel fighting our way out. No, the community has moved on. They're called rip and shippers now.
Rip and shippers, what?
Yep, they're ripping and shipping.
Oh yeah. I know what you mean about. But yeah, the ceiling is quite low. Yeah, I feel like myself and LDF as well. All of us kind of at this level, or all at this kind of ceiling, have been there for a little while. So it's I'm very grateful to actually get to that position because it's something that I did want to achieve when we last spoke. And it's really good to be in that kind of spot. It's I'm very grateful.
Yeah, we had LDF on a couple weeks ago, and it kind of said the same thing, like about like where the ceiling can be shattered and like who's gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say what's gonna be the correct direction. I know he said that like people could do like Wolf Click style like tournament things, and you've been trying stuff like that too, and that was super entertaining. The Blissey video was so fun to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, that was very much inspired by Wolfie, 100%. It's something I'm going to keep exploring. But one thing I've noticed is I think the algorithm on my channel just didn't kind of back that kind of video. Is long story short, the content that I've been making for so long, many years now, is just deck list daily, right? And so when you do that, you're going to teach the YouTube algorithm to find people who want that. And then when you build up and up and up and up, that's pretty much all your videos are going to be recommended to, those kinds of people. So people are interested in seeing like a tournament video, so to speak. But if you need to like, let me go back to what I'm saying, sorry. So the tournament video is recommended to those kind of people who are happy to watch that, because it's basically a decklist video, but longer, and with obviously a lot more to it. But to breach into just a kind of general viewer base, something like the viewer base that I know Andrew Mahone and Chip and Azul have tapped into with their other channels, there needs to be something going on, something more to it. So I'm going to explore it for a different route. And see how it goes. I've already got some plans in mind to see if we can shatter that ceiling, because it's very tough to break through. And that's, I think, yeah, go on. No,
I was going to say, I think one of the first steps that you take was collaborating with, you know, people who, you know, are with, you know, who are on your level, you know, or equal to you. It's like what you and LDF did.
Yeah.
That was fantastic, you know, and I think that's like a step, like, you know, you're diverse. You're not diversifying your audience. I'm pretty sure anyone who's heard of LDF, for the most part, 8 out of 10 people has heard of, you know, For the Win. They're very similar style. But the fact that, you know, this large entity comes with this large entity, and, you know, that collaborates. So now if you start, like, you know, collaborating with the Cilioses, the Omnipokes, the Azuls, the Andrew Mahomes, if that ever happens, I think that builds the little niche that we have here. And there's a ceiling there that needs to be shattered, and how to shatter it is like, that's the part we all need to figure out. And, you know, LDF has some ideas as well, but it's not easy. It's easier said than done.
Yeah, easier said than done. I think collaboration is a massive one, a big one. I do have, just for a bit of context, a friend, someone I met, and we'll get more into this because we're going to talk about UIC, who's a fan of a channel, who's a bigger YouTuber, and has given me some advice and stuff. And he mentioned collaboration being a massive, massive thing for growth, and kind of the idea of a raising tide raises all ships, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And that's something that's being proven already. Like that collab video of LDF, again, performed pretty standard views wise. But again, I think that's more of an algorithm thing. But the interaction was crazy. You know, the view to like ratio was ridiculous. You know, 20,000 views, it's like 1.3K likes, whereas usually a video of 20K views sits at around about 800 likes. So that's a lot more. Purely because of that collaboration, and the amount of people in the comments asking for more was insane. So that's something that's proving that kind of point. So me and LDF are in talks of working more into the future. So we have got things in mind. We both have a shared goal of shattering that ceiling, right? So we are in talks to help each other kind of break that. Because I think right now our community, in its infancy, is very much, you know, everyone's kind of holding their cards close to their chest and just kind of doing their own thing, trying to get the one up, which is a healthy competition to have in a YouTube space. But I think if you really want to push, I think working together is one of the best ways to go. So that's kind of my philosophy going forward of it.
Well, yeah, I like what you said. A rising tide raises all ships. I like that. You know, yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. And the
videos being a competitor competing, but man.
Yeah, the videos that we saw, as I said, were just more like me kind of dipping my toes in the water, just seeing how people respond to it. It's not sustainable for me daily. Well, no, not daily, sorry. It's not sustainable for me because the views are basically the same as what I get by just doing decklist videos anyway. So it kind of makes no sense to spend a week making a video and it basically perform the same anyway than what would be I'd get on a daily basis for just financially funding myself. But I've got plans. It's an interesting.
I think those videos are needed because it's like you said, from financial standpoint. You know, you spend a day making a decklist video as opposed to 6 days making this collaboration video with LDF and trying to get the time and grind out the time and edit it and all that stuff. And it's, you know, almost the same. You know, so yeah, that doesn't make sense. But I think it's building towards something that you know that we all want to see and we all want to achieve and we want something like that. I had a comment I posted on that video and it got washed away because I watched the video a day late. But I said I want next. I don't know what you guys got next, but I want to play one of you guys next, man. I can make some. I used to make some really good rogue decks, man. Then I started playing meta because I started playing RRL. But when I was playing on live and PTCG, I was up there with y'all making some rogue decks that works, man. My stream was popping.
He sure was. I wish you could see me rolling my eyes.
Well, so you look very happy right now. So I don't think you're not rolling your eyes. You look very happy right now. You have a nice smile on your face.
All right, I need to find an angry image now.
But no, what UNLDF did, man, I think that's great, man. Like what Mahone has switched over to, just strictly tabletop content for the most part. And it's new and it's different for him. And some people are like into it, and some people aren't really too sure about it. And I'm sure it's like, I'm sure some of it's been kind of scary for him. Kind of, he's been kind of unsure about things. But he sees this as the way to, shatter that ceiling we're talking about, to get, to the next level where we want to go with this.
Yeah.
Pokemon card content creation kind of thing. And what Azul does with Chip, and as far as what they do with Uncommon Energy. Azul takes a random deck to a locals and see how far he can win with it. They do their evolution series. And there's just so many different avenues that people are trying. And who knows which one's going to work? Who knows what's going to happen? But I'm here for it all. I'm enjoying watching all this content.
Yeah, I think it's necessary.
Super interesting.
I mean, like, go ahead.
No, go.
All right. Well, I mean, like, if you look at like the demographics of people that are purchasing cards now, the best way to convert those collectors is to show him how easy it is to play the game in general, even if we're not playing standard or whatever. Just finding fun ways to, like, hey, actually playing with these cards, they do something. You can read them. It's not just a pretty piece of cardboard that you can admire the art and put in a binder, or worry about sending off to get graded or whatever. But like finding ways to get people to play and show them, hey, all this stuff you have, all those like cards that you just throw away, all that bulk, you can do stuff with it.
Yeah, it's true. I think the great thing about this is where it's going to get really interesting going forward. Is the great thing about when you mentioned about Andrew Mahone and going down this kind of more tabletop route, I think his biggest success so far in recent times is Tricky Hideout, which is absolutely blowing up.
It's so
in
fun
terms
too.
Of performance, and so fun. Yeah, exactly. And it's similar in a sense, not exactly, but I guess in terms of concepts and core philosophy to Uncommon Energy's formula of making videos, which is just to take the TCG and do something fun with it, right? And as you said, that helps people kind of get into the game. What they have that is going to be more difficult for someone like myself to do, and is going to really be interesting to explore on my end, is they are much more easily able to bridge the gap between collectors and players with those videos, because they're playing with IRL cards. So they're cards people have themselves and can look at and read, and seeing it played physically in real life is much easier than watching it being played on something like PTCGL. There's a bit more of a gap between the collector and an online player. And so there is, and this is actually shown recently, that there is actually a difference between a PTCGL audience and a competitive TCG audience. And that's been shown by or will even be shown even more, actually, should I say, when I go more into the future of making this kind of content. Because I want to make content similar, but on PTCGL. And that is just an untapped market, I think. I don't know how big that market is. I don't know if it is capped at the same ceiling that I was mentioning earlier and LDF has mentioned. I'm not sure, but they've gone into a market of IRL play and IRL videos, which is very different from PTCGL videos. However, if you look at Yu-Gi-Oh, obviously a much bigger ceiling naturally, but they've made some pretty good series and stuff using Master Duel.
Oh yeah.
And although PTCGL is worse, I think using it as a tool to create this content rather than it being about using PTCGL, then I think there's some great potential there. Yeah, but it's really interesting to see how this all works. Even I could talk for ages about this, but yeah, go on. I could talk forever.
It is wild to see like what the Yu-Gi-Oh sphere is able to do. And like I feel like MTG Arena isn't even doing anything like that at all with their niche either too, in terms of content, because it just like everyone's just like, all right, I just want to play Commander.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of content. I think the one that's really untapped is basically what I've done with LDF, which is like a Den We Fight kind of thing. That's in VGC. I don't know if you know that kind of content at all.
A little bit.
But yeah, it's a very, very proven formula in every game it's used in. So that being untapped in PTCGL, I think that's something I want to tap into. I said MTG, whatever. It is, but all I know is we are still in the infancy of this space, and we're in a position to kind of push it forward. So I want to see what I can do there. Yeah.
It's crazy to think that it's like, it feels like it's in infancy when the Pokemon is coming up on 30 years old. But
it's true.
compared to where, you know, like where we were with like nationals being like homebrew recordings in 2006 through 2012 before there was any official streams or even videos or whatever, like every other game had all those production pushed content before we even did it all.
Yeah, I mean, for me, what I mean more so when I say in its infancy, I mean more of the entertainment factor, entertainment kind of videos. Competitively, it's popping off absolutely like crazy, man. But in terms of just
I think it's all kind of connected. I think the content, the collection. I mean, unfortunately, but I mean, hey, the collectors, the content, the competitiveness. I feel like it's all connected. It's all like, you know, growing and popping off. It's I don't want to say
it's connected.
It's growing in, you know, it's growing in a direction. It's growing in a direction. I can't say positive because of a lot of the scalping that's going on, the collector's problem. That's an issue. But regionals IRL are bigger than ever. The last 3 months have produced like 4 or 5 of your biggest videos, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Pocket. You make a video on Pocket for the most part, and it's going to do pretty well. You stream Pocket. You go look at Twitch right now. People streaming Pocket are doing really well, you know, in terms of views and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
And you can't walk into a store and buy product. It's just gone. So I think Pokemon cards, this small niche is like in a really good spot for growth. So I don't know. I wouldn't just say entertainment because that's part of it too. I think overall it's all growing, which is good. I had a buddy locally here in Fresno who won a regional back, let's say 2018. I don't know, and it was like a 300-person regional that he won. Regionals nowadays are pushing 3,500 people. So
thousands. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely growth. Yeah, I'm not saying there's no growth. I'm also saying that, let's say, for example, a pack opening video can get hundreds of thousands of views, where PTCGL peaks at, I mean, the Bidoof is the biggest one at 82,000. So there is a difference in terms of content because we are, as Stu said, we're like a niche of a niche.
We are a niche of a niche. So what you're telling me is I need to just start opening packs then. I need to start ripping packs.
I mean, there's a much bigger audience there, but with a much bigger audience, there's much more competition. And much more development in content. So content in the PTCGL space is in its infancy because there's not that many content creators in that space compared to other spaces like pack opening or any other gaming space, to be fair. Obviously, the bigger the audience, the bigger the more people are going to be around creating and the better the content's going to be as a result. So this is still quite a small community. And yeah, that's kind of what I was more what I was referring to. Because everything's growing right now. Like obviously my channel's done really well recently too. So yeah, I don't want to discredit that at all.
I mean, even I've had a successful month and I've only put out 2 videos
you popped off. I saw. I
finally know what I think I need to do going forward, but well, you know,
that's good. It's identity, right? It's channel identity. That helped me so much. As soon as I realized what was working for me, I ran with it, and that's what you got to do. Yeah.
So I need to lean into that really hard. I'm just gonna try and do my best to, you know, be helpful and straightforward, and I guess be more onboardy for new players. That's kind of the vibe I think I'm gonna lean into more and more here.
No, that's
assuming your pre-release video did really well. We understand. We get it.
What?
Good on you, man. Good on you.
Calm down, Gazer.
I'm a bit of a hater.
Not even necessarily the pre-release video did better than the other ones, but like the top 10 standard decks video did insanely well compared to other things I've done in the similar vein, which I did not understand.
Shout out to MWDC.
Yeah,
that was Mike.
Rest in peace.
Our editor.
It's good.
Mike's great editor, but our editor has got a new job, and he's like, "Hey, mates, fellas, you know, because he's from, you know, he's British, you know, he's from the UK too. So, hey, mates, fellas, fish and chips, all that good stuff, beans and toast. I won't be able to do anything ever for you guys ever again." And we're like, "Whoa, well,
oh no, yeah."
So so honestly, we don't know how this episode is going to get like, you know, edited or, you know, get even published. So this may never be heard by anyone.
That's not true. He said
he
said he'll still do the podcast. Shut up, Gazer. I hope he like edits somebody taking a dump on your forehead in post.
Come on, Mike, don't do that for me.
There you go.
Perfect.
But no, Subi, you're right. You know, your last couple of videos, you know, when you only put out like a couple in the last month or so, have done really well for you. And there's something here now, and it's growing and it's getting there, but there's still like what levels to reach, you know. So yeah, I'm excited to see where you go with this, Sean, and you too, Stu.
That's
like I hope one day like you guys could, you know, all collaborate with like something huge, like something big. That'd be cool, man.
It would be great. Cool. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's but yeah, Stu, I think it's definitely good. I think that's something what you're doing is also what Trasher Pilot's tapping into now as well, isn't he? He's doing a lot of like top 10 videos or top 5 videos, and they're doing quite well for him too. So there's definitely a market for that, for sure. I think that's been around for a while. I think Celio kind of tapped into that a little bit as well before.
I think Celio and Omnipoke, right?
Yeah,
probably Joe and Celio. They're probably the ones who are like really, you know, if you want to see a top 10 video, it was them for the most part. And then now it's starting to spread.
Yeah, I think that's
me. I'm
a real market for that.
Me though, I'm just a Twitter guy. I go to Twitter, I make a comment, and people want to, you know, try to disprove everything I say. So I'm like, okay, I'm here for it.
Because you're always wrong.
Coming in with a hot take.
I'll say, hey, X deck is really good. It only loses to Y deck. And everyone's like, no, it loses this, that, this, and you know, it generates some buzz. So I'm like, that's cool. I'm a Twitter guy now.
I see. You're baiting. You're leaving the hook right in front of him. You're doing a little bait post. I see. This deck's great against everything else. And you got the people, actually. Getting that interaction.
There are a lot of actuallys. There are a lot of actuallys.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah. In fact, one of my buddies, Gabe Smart, challenged me to a 10K money match to prove that my deck was inferior to his deck. I'm like, whoa, buddy, first off,
you're taking it.
You're now, you know, this is before he's a regional winner, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But you know, like, buddy, you are like an accomplished Pokemon player. I'm some scrub. I am not playing you for that much money. That is like everything I own. I wouldn't be able to stream ever again.
Put your house on the line. Yeah.
I mean,
but yeah, I'm not trying to bait, but
people wanted to put that money up for it though too. Like, doesn't like Darkside like say they would cover it?
Raw. That's wild.
I would ask him about it, but he's a regional winner now, so he probably has no time.
Hey, he's got the 10K guaranteed. What are you talking about?
No, he has no time. I'm beneath him now. He's no time for the small fish. He's a big fish now.
Oh, bigger fish to fry, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll get to him later. You know, that was Brisbane Regional this past weekend. We'll get to that later. But so we talked a lot about the growth and everything like that. You know, we see how, you know, we're all excited where the future can go with this stuff. Stu, and I hope your channel pops off and hope you start collaborating with bigger people. And Sean, you're already collaborating with, you know, LDF. I hope that just continues. But it is not all sunshine and rainbows. It is not the easiest thing to do. There's struggles with this, and there's burnout involved with this. And Subin, you've been there before. I mean, that was part of the reason why we had to take that 1.5 year hiatus.
No, you were the reason.
I was gonna say, you know, I'm me, but still.
Don't put yourself
but
down.
No, you've been there before too. And Sean, I know you've been there recently. I don't know if you're going to touch on that too much or not.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a moment I had for sure. That was kind of post the UIC. I wanted to kind of try to take this new avenue. Kind of speaking to a lot of creators and stuff. I had just before that, actually, before I got into that kind of struggle, I had a wonderful time at UIC, a moment where I was able to meet some creators who were just like-minded like me, and all we did was just kind of talk like analytics and, you know, over a drink and stuff, and it was really, really cool. I'm gonna shout out Game Boy Luke. He's the one who invited me, so thank you, man.
Yo, that's what's up.
It's really, really, really cool.
Watch a lot of his content. That's what's up.
Yeah, really cool to just like talk to people around that, like in that kind of space, who are just really interested. And so I thought, okay, I'll try a different strategy here, try and see if I can break that ceiling, because we spoke about the ceiling and stuff like that. And so with that in mind, I was like, okay, let me try and take these pieces of advice I was given by a lot of people on board, and really give it a good go. And so I decided to kind of make that switch, and that really started to first come into play with the Kyogre 1-Hit KO deck video, where when I made that, I really just did like a proper edited intro. And I went a bit overboard. I kind of over edited that video. It was a bit of a tough watch as a result. But I put a few good days into editing on that video and trying to learn new ways and trying to add like sound effects and certain transitions and really smoothing it out in comparison to just me talking at the start. And that was kind of the first step. And then I went into kind of exploring new ideas, more challenge-based content, and looking into like building decks with only fire type Pokemon or only grass. And that was one video. Another one was like only starters. Again, kind of very Wolfie-esque in terms of content. And I started to notice that it just kind of was underperforming. And I was like, maybe it's just like maybe I need to try something else. Maybe that's just not what people want to see. and then did the tournament video. I don't know if I did that after or before I posted. I think that was just before I posted the video actually about what was going on. And again, it was just kind of performing at standard level. And as a result of that, I kind of got into a little bit of panic. I was sitting there going, am I throwing everything I have right now away? Like, am I actually just chucking it out to try and break this ceiling, you know? Because there's one aspect, there's the financial aspect, but that was actually dealt with quite nicely thanks to streaming. I was streaming on YouTube, and there's so much support from people on the streams through like gifted memberships and stuff. It genuinely was just funding the channel itself. So I was actually had the kind of financial stability, at least for this short period of time, to kind of look into this. So that I'm so grateful for. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I kind of just had this moment of like, wow, this is scary. Like, what if it doesn't work out? What if I'm committing to something that is the wrong move for the channel? And that's the first time I kind of experienced that. I'm very privileged to say that's the first time I've experienced that, because I've just taken what I've done. Like, if you realize what I've done since I started coming into the scene at like 2018, 2017, I've done basically the same thing, but just fine-tuned it. You know, I've just done make a deck, post a video on it, and kind of that's that every day. But just try my best to increase the editing, increase the quality and production. And so I've known that if I just keep doing that, it's going to work. And that's how it kind of came to be. So it's the first time I made a drastic change completely, and sitting there going, oh, I don't know if I like this feeling. For those who don't know, I do have issues with anxiety. And it's something I'm looking into for sure. And obviously I've mentioned like ADHD and stuff before in my videos many a times, and they are very heavily linked. And so that kind of kicked in one night where I was sitting there thinking about it and going, okay, kind of strategizing in my mind what I can do. Because as that kind of tournament video dropped and it was kind of performing pretty much standard, just in terms of views, I mean, obviously the interaction was really high again, like the comments, so much support in the comments, so, like people liking the video, telling me, like a big thing to me, just as a quick sidetrack, that indicates whether a content or not is worth continuing to make, is like the view to like ratio. Like, it was much higher than my normal videos. It means more people actively decided in that moment to click the like button, because it was much more engaging as a video. But anyway, that aside, noticing it's performing pretty standard, kind of had a bit of worry, and then just started to overthink, thoughts racing constantly. And I just simply couldn't sleep. I just could not sleep. It was constant in my head. Where what's going on? How can I navigate this and make sure I'm making the right choice and not throwing everything away? And that kept me up so much. I slept for like 2 hours in like a 40-hour period, just constantly stressing about that, which led to like sleep anxiety, which, if you don't know, is effectively, paradoxically, the fear of sleeping, of going to sleep, because you're trying so hard to get to sleep. You're thinking, man, I need to sleep. Yeah, what if I don't go to sleep? I need to sleep now. And the pressure goes up and up and up as every hour passes. You're like, I need to sleep. And so that kind of kicked into effect. And it's a bit of a feedback loop where it gets worse and worse and worse until your body just knocks itself out. But one thing I did, that video was much more of, I mentioned it in the video, much more of a therapeutic thing for myself, because the moment I posted that video to acknowledge that and the struggles that are coming as a result of this change and the recognition of my... Huh?
You fell asleep, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. When you posted, you're like, and upload.
Yeah, I uploaded it.
Just calm.
I was gonzo. It kind of gave myself permission to sleep. I was like, okay, I acknowledged the problem. I've put it out there and talked about it in that kind of sense. And yeah, from there, I kind of was able to sleep and give myself some time. I had some people reach out to me. So many people actually reached out to me. You guys are very understanding, of course. I know we had a scheduled.
No, man, life is way more important than any of this. I know Gazer's mad about the whole year and a half hiatus or whatever, but like, we all got shit going on, and sometimes that's all way more important than any of this. And being able to understand that and see that, like, knowing that, like, oh man, we're keeping you up late to do this. No effing way we're gonna let this go down.
Yeah, it wasn't gonna. After Steven said, it's like, hey, Gazer, check this. And I think I was at a league night and I looked at it after. I was like, whoa. I said, no, he needs time. He needs a moment.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I appreciate it.
I mean, he already reached out to you, and I was like, okay, cool. I said,
yeah,
okay,
he did.
We'll see where this goes. And, if he needs a day, if he needs a week, if he needs a month, whatever it is. I said, I want him on, because that's, you're my boy. You're my guy. And I'm like,
I appreciate that. Yeah.
The mental aspect of this is mental health is real.
Yeah,
Mental health
100%.
is so real. And Stupid's right. We all have stuff going on. Stupid, you said a swear word, didn't you?
No, I said F. I didn't actually say it. Yeah.
No. You said we all have a lot of going on.
Oh, yeah. I said shit. So what?
We're getting this month. We're gonna be gone.
We're not even monetized, bro. I could say ass, shit, piss, whatever. It's okay. Those words are okay. It's the F word we gotta be careful for.
Yeah, and it's not in the first 30 seconds. You're fine. It's okay. But yeah, it's
mental health is real. Like that's why I love having you on, Sean. We've had you on 3 different times, and each time you're real. You're open book. Everything's on your sleeve, and I'm the same way. Whatever I'm feeling, whatever's going on in my life, I just talk about it. Whatever's happening, and we talked about. I think the first episode we talked about, like, the mental aspect of all this, and how it can affect you. And it's never been an issue for you to talk about, and it is therapeutic sometimes to talk about that, post a video about it, and just express it. It's true.
No, it's very true. I mean, it's something that needs to be talked about and acknowledged and understood. And I think posting that video was a net positive. I've since removed it because I wanted to just move forward.
And that's understandable.
Yeah, but it was.
You had put a post saying that you were gonna, saying that you feel better, you're seeking some help, regarding a few things, and you always talked about you have undiagnosed ADHD, and first I was like, he's just talking, he's just making up stuff, and then I see some of your misplays, I'm like, oh no, he might he has something going on up there, because
I mean, it's
a couple videos. I'm like, what is he doing? Why do you do that? Why do you click that? What is he doing?
It's unexplainable.
But you say you want to get some of this checked out. You say you realize you have issues going on. There's something happening, and you said you're going to remove this post and the video. Yeah. And that's because you said you acknowledge the problem, and now it's time to move on and go to the next step. What do we do next? What happens next? Have you taken any steps regarding that, or looked into anything like that yet?
So it's pretty much, obviously things take time to come into effect. Obviously schedule and stuff like that to try and make things a bit easier to follow. So I've been doing that, which has been very helpful. I mean, for now, it's primarily just kind of adjusting the mental stuff. So I'm getting therapy for it. So I'm just waiting to I think I've just booked my first appointment for that. So I'll be doing that. I've had therapy before and stuff. So it's nothing like new or scary to me. It's actually very helpful. Like the amount of times I've had therapy twice for 2 different things, and they've been very helpful both occasions. So I've already booked therapy for that. And just kind of given myself some structure away from a kind of hyperfixating, because the main point of that video originally to upload it was the acknowledgement really of the issue of hyperfixation, and which is in and of itself an ADHD symptom, by the way. It's called hyperfocus. And it's basically the idea where you get so invested into something, every other part of your life around you kind of starts to fall and drift by the wayside because you spend so much time on this one thing. And that was kind of happening with my YouTube channel, and that hyperfixation obviously helped fuel that panic and anxiety that led to the sleep loss. So it was just an acknowledgement of that, and that's something I'm really kind of prioritizing looking after right now. But at the same time, a lot of people reassured me and said, Sean, that's kind of normal. Like this is your livelihood. It's something that you've put so many years into. It's something that is funding you. It's your job and your dream all in one. You're going to panic if it's in jeopardy. And so a lot of people did kind of reassure me that it's okay, because this is all very new. That kind of feeling of like, oh God, am I throwing everything away? And I initially mistook it as me being too focused on the YouTube channel. I think that's still a part of it, which is what was acknowledged and I just mentioned here. But there is another part of it where it's like, okay, it's also kind of normal to feel that way. So I have taken steps, and it's just a matter of time really to see how it goes. But in terms of like content now going forward, I've gone back into the just doing the daily deck list because I still enjoy doing it, and I've actually learned a lot doing this, kind of testing out this new kind of content. You'll notice the intros of my newer videos are very similar to that now, putting a lot more time in that, really to just up the quality of the content again and go further. And then obviously, as I said before, take that new kind of bigger videos and try and explore that in a different avenue in a way that's a bit more comfortable. So I have taken some pretty good steps actually. Yeah, that's made it pretty good.
Steven died again.
Hello.
Oh yeah, he died.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm here.
Imagine he just dozed off.
No, I'm not gonna fall asleep.
The NyQuil's kicking in. Okay.
No, I'm not drinking NyQuil. Get out of here.
Yeah.
We're cursing on this thing. We're drinking NyQuil. What are we doing here?
Well, is there any
This is definitely not for kids.
You not mentioned before about like having that 1.5 year hiatus. Was that a burnout thing or?
Yeah, kind of. To be as transparent as possible. While Gazer and I love each other like brothers, I also hate him like a brother. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. I
so
get it.
like massive creative differences
I see.
happen, and just also, you know, he just had his son basically at the time, and it was a little bit harder to record and schedule.
It's just life.
Yeah. Life honestly got in the way,
honestly.
and I think after we had it was Pittsburgh regionals, and like I put all this time into playing this like stupid Charizard deck with testing group, and the deck was great, but I just hit like the most stupid matchups for the first 3 rounds. And, like I think that was another contributing factor of like I don't think I want to do this anymore. And I stopped doing everything for a while.
Yeah,
just
and to be honest, Stephen,
yeah.
I know we had differences and, you know, things like that. I wanted to be goofy, you want to be more serious, and it was what it was. We still found middle ground with that stuff. And at one point, you want to go in a different direction, and I was like, well, no, we need to keep it here because it's, you know, what we built up. And we've been able to work through that stuff before, but I think, like you said, when you went to that regional and it didn't go that great for you, and
like that's like it was like the hometown regional, like.
Yeah,
and then also too, like Wancho really wanted me to come on and do like an interview on stream, and then Skarzik, shout out to Skarzik, he cucked me for drawing instead. That was also kind of like, all right, I don't belong. I don't want to do this anymore. Kind of like kick me when I'm down.
Kick me when I'm down. So we spent like 2 weeks, and we recorded some episodes, but then like everything was just, you know, adding fuel to the fire. So we'll see when I actually can't record this week. You know, my son has a thing to go to, or I can't record this week. I'm going, you know, and I was playing more locally myself. I'm going to a cup, or, you know, can we switch this time? You know, hey, I found this guest, but can only do it at this certain time. So it was all just, you know, building up and Steuben, and then it just all came to a head. And it was for the most, not for the most part, it was a form of burnout, a form of frustration for Steuben in a way, and it just boiled over. So it's true. This burnout, the burnout, the struggles with this stuff is real. It is true.
Yeah. And I mean, to see like other podcasts like come out of nowhere and just like, I hate to say it, but like do way better than us unexpectedly.
I was going to say suck. Okay.
I would say an important thing to do there is try not to compare. I've seen other creators do that, and it be their downfall.
The imposter syndrome and everything, and
honestly, and that was, now that I think about it, you're right, Steuben. There was a lot of times where like we would, you know, he would message me and our editor Mike, and be like, hey, this podcast came out, looks like they got, you know, this many more views and listens than we did this week. I'm like, okay, that's fine.
What I do usually when something like that happens, this is kind of a bit of a back and forth. I think me and LDF have a little bit. It's kind of like an unspoken thing where, you know, he'll do a video, and I'm sure there'll be times where he would look at my channel, or I would look at his channel, and we try and like almost one up each other in a good way, to try and keep things progressing, so to speak. And I think that's healthy. I think if someone's doing better than you, what I kind of do first thing, as my initial response, is to figure out what they're doing and how I'm like, what about that content is allowing it to go further, and being honest with yourself with that. It's like, okay, are they doing X better? Are they doing Y better? Or is it that they just have more ties to the community? Or is it they have people supporting them otherwise that you guys maybe don't? And that's when you're honest with that and you figure it out genuinely, you can actually pick it apart a little bit and learn what you can use with that to help improve your content. And I think that's a really, really difficult thing to do, because you have to kind of, to say it bluntly, you have to kind of humble yourself. You have to sit there and be like, okay, I'm not doing good right now with this. They are. So what are they doing that I should? And that is a really, really useful way to improve. And you'll notice a lot of the times it's just a bit more hunger. Some people just do want it more in some occasions, and that fluctuates. You know, there'll be periods where some person would want it, like maybe you would want it more than them, and then there's a period where, you know, you've gone for a few months and it's starting to get a little bit monotonous, and then someone else comes in who wants it a bit more, and they start trying to innovate and adapt, and they start going, and then it's important to kind of play that back and forth game. I think that's what helped me a lot growing, is like just recognizing what people are doing well and implementing that in my own way, and running with it. And that's usually what works a lot. But it is such an easy trap to fall into, and an understandable one, when someone else is doing better than you in the same space, because, you know, it's immediately going to put you down, because it feels like you now have to climb up a mountain. you know, in order to get to a level that you thought you maybe was originally at.
No, and I think now, like now we've come to terms with that because now we just don't care. Well, we do care, but like we care about the right things instead of the wrong things. You care more. You care more than I do about numbers and shit this time around. I'm just doing this because it was fun. That was the thing that like I think it got lost in the wayside originally. It was fun bringing folks like you on and everyone else that we've had, and just like the memories and like the shenanigans to be had and stuff like that. Like that's what matters to me now. And like this is never going to be something super successful. It's never going to be something that financially affects our lives, because just generally podcasts don't make shit for money unless you're like a super celebrity or something. Well, again, we're in a niche of a niche with a lot of competition, led by people that are massive pillars of the community. You and I have, what was the joke we made last time after somebody had some like, oh, it was their fifth, it was Andrew Hedrick's like 5th regional win, and I was like, you and I have 0 combined between us. So like we're never gonna have that kind of stuff, and especially this year because I haven't applied myself towards any Pokemon tournaments whatsoever with the structure and everything the way it is. It just doesn't work for an adult male with a career and hobbies that are outside of the sphere too. So
Alan,
but we're here for a fun time, not a long time.
I think a lot of that got lost in it. There's a time that in that first year and a half where like you really focused on the numbers and the analytics, and I was into them too as well. But at the same time, I'm like, what did it for me was, and I'm Sean, I'm sure you relate to this. You go to, EUIC, and you have people come up to you and say, "Oh my gosh, you're for the win."
Yeah.
I love your videos. I seen this video. This deck was crazy, and I had that happen. Hey, are you Gazer? Yeah. Oh, I used to watch your stream all the time, man. Every stream, every day. Or I listen to the podcast. Oh my gosh, I love you and super hilarious. And for me, that was fulfilling for me. So it wasn't too much, early on about the numbers and analytics and how well we're doing and stuff like that. I'm like, hey, I know we're doing something different that people are liking and they're enjoying it. People are, giving us positive feedback on it. So I'm like, I'm enjoying this. Something positive is happening here. So, I was more in that aspect. And I think you're kind of trending there now too, aren't you, Sue?
To an extent, yeah. I mean, I have, like I said, some other things going on that I'm not of liberty to speak of at the current moment in time. But
what's going on here? Let me know.
I can't stop it.
Nah, you don't say it.
But
you good.
We do this now because we want to. At least for me, I want to do it. And now with like my work schedule officially changed as of like today, to where I have like a set, concrete couple of days off, so I can focus more on this and content and stuff, and not actually like stress about waking up and going to work for 8 hours and coming home and just like and not do anything. Now I can dedicate like specific times, and it'll help me focus a lot more.
Yeah, it's so healthy. That's much healthier way to do it. That's how I've approached my YouTube for a very long time. The analytics are important, but they can always come second.
You guys heard it here first with Stephen's new schedule. Gusty podcast we're recording every week now on Sundays or Mondays. New episodes will be out every Wednesday now.
Dog, we could have recorded. We could have recorded last week, but you went radio silent.
He ghosted.
I was trying to get. I got 8th and 2nd at a cup, man. So
he's too big for you now, Steve. He's too big, mate.
Yeah. He's not there playing for those who's line League Cup points, where everything's made up and the points don't matter.
The points, 200 points get you a promo.
Yeah, okay. You get a promo card. Excuse me. You get a promo card.
Yeah. Oh man. But no, yeah, it's a genuinely healthy way to look at it. I think when you start doing it for fun and enjoyment, you actually want more out of it. So you start to just literally have fun with it, and that resonates. People see that. They know the difference between you enjoying what you're doing or doing something because it's an obligation. People feel that. I can't explain it, but many times I watch a video and I'm like, you don't really want to be doing this. You can just kind of tell.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very.
Like I said, there was about a 2-week period where Subin was going through the motions. Like you were just going through the motions. I was like, and I'm trying like, come on, dog, it's fun. Come on, man. And you're still just like, you just weren't into it for a while. So yeah, it is true.
And I realized that too, because like I used to force myself to like, all right, cool, I got to put out a freaking video every week, and I stopped doing that, and then now they're better and they do better, and I'm having way more fun with all of it.
We get it, Subin. Your last 2 videos have popped off. We get it. Blah blah blah.
I'm not bragging.
No.
I wish I could punch you through the camera.
He's having you on
with my clam burger
like,
doodled.
No, honestly, that's really good, man. That's really good. I love seeing people succeed. So genuinely, that's good stuff, man. That's really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and Stu, your content has been, Pokemon related, which is something that I know, you had trouble just mainly focusing on for a while because you say you have other interests. You like your Fortnite, you like your other things like that. But you have not touched PTCGL like content in a while.
No, and I won't.
And I need to.
I know you won't. And Sean, that's mainly that's your niche right there. Mostly, PTCGL, videos.
Yeah.
But moving on, Live has had some updates recently. I haven't dabbled in them much, but Sean, I know you can really speak on them. You want to go ahead and explain it, or Stu, you want to explain what's going on, and Sean, you want to go ahead and elaborate on it a little bit?
So I don't play Live, so no, I have no clue. I'm disconnected. I literally I have a stack of codes.
I host this segment?
I have a stack of codes on my desk that just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I'll scan them in eventually. I'll update it on my phone and scan them in. No, I think I have enough code cards in my apartment to build a new apartment.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Well, to be fair, speaking of codes, because it actually is relevant to the update, the update has recently come into effect of not actually being able to craft certain rarities now, isn't it, in PTCGL?
Yeah.
So
you can't just go straight high rarity anymore.
Yeah, you have to just go to standards. So let's say, for example, like a Zoroark EX, you can only really craft the standard Zoroark EX. You can't craft every rare is always called something different nowadays. But yeah, you have to wait
Hyper
6 months.
Super double
illustration, full art illustration, I'll just say. Like the full art illustration, you cannot craft them for 6 months. So you have to pack them, which actually is interesting because that actually brings codes back into.
I'm kind of for that because one of my main issues with PTCGL when it was revealed you can craft stuff like that, I was like, well, that sucks because little Timmy's gonna just go buy out all the celebration codes because it's such a small set that after you have every card in the set, you just start getting more crafting.
Like 5K credits.
What do they call back then? Just credits. You start getting more credits. So I'm like, Timmy's gonna buy out all of celebration codes. Celebration codes are gonna jump up to $1.50 each. And this sucks. Now everybody can just have a blinged out deck without having to really do anything for it. Just here it is. Look, my deck's blinged out. I got the app yesterday. Here's my deck. But now you actually have to put in codes. You have to actually try to open them up. And now you actually have to, or wait or just place, base rarity and actually work towards something. I kind of like that. I don't mind that a little bit.
No, I think it's good. I think we'll get a bit of hate for that because a lot of people are very against that move. I think
a lot of people are. Yeah,
I think people are against it because
I was going to fight someone in AIC because of this opinion one time.
I'd love to hear that story. But no, it's a matter of the fact that they have taken something away from us. Like if that was originally a part of PTCG's economy, then people would be like, yeah, this is a good thing, I think, because people can play the game if they want to, and there's now actually some sort of value to the higher rares. Whereas now, before, when I see higher rarity cards, I don't think anything. I think, oh, you just got some extra codes in. That's really
that was my issue. There was no thought to it. Like, okay, well, I
guess whereas now, and
codes.
It's similar in Pocket, so to speak. When you see someone pull out a genuinely rare card, you're like, oh, hello, and it's either they've put a ton of money in, you think, oh, they're a baller. Or either way, there's something actually to it now. I mean, there's still no trading, so that value is still technically not real. But at the end of the day, it does add a little bit more to the pack opening experience in PTCGL, and I think that's a good thing. People can still play the game. I don't think it's made it any harder to play. So I do think it is a positive change for just PTCGL in general. But I see why there's people who genuinely like playing with the full art cards or playing with the gold cards. LDF, the best example, right? He always blings it out. So I
was watching his stream during
that. Yeah, I won't like it.
He was really kind of ticked off about it. He was
exactly, yeah. And there are people who like it, and I understand that completely. And there may be people who play the game exclusively to play with those kind of art. So I'm not ignoring that at all. I think it's healthy for the game overall, but it is something where it's a bit frustrating that we had it before and they took it away.
That's the thing. I think you made a good point. You said the fact that they, people feel like it's been taken away from them. They took our jobs, they took our cards. And I think that's the main. You're right. That's the main issue. That's part of the problem.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, that's one of them. I'm so happy to see more game modes. So happy.
I'm indifferent. I don't like singleton format. I've never been big on that because it's the inconsistency. It irks me so much. It frustrates me.
Yeah.
And I've gotten better at building decks, like GLC decks and stuff like that. But it's still just not fun to me.
Yeah,
I just
it needs
the
improvement.
inconsistency of just, oh, here's this one card I had, I can't get to it, I need it. Well,
Oh, I think I did see
now
this,
what?
but aren't they still not adding black and white cards?
Yeah, that's the crazy thing.
That's messed up.
GLC, but not black and white on. That was funny. They actually, I noticed this. I mentioned this on stream. In the letter to the community that they posted, originally it said like black and white on, and then that was that. And then later on, they actually updated that to say black and white on, and then underneath said for PTCGL, sun and moon on. So I think a lot of people, including myself, were like, "Oh, black and white on. Are they actually going to add black and white?" And then they must have just sat there and went, "Oh no, okay, hold on, let's go back and let's fix it up." So if you go back now,
I didn't see that part. I didn't see the edit. I do remember the original one that said, black and white on. I do remember that.
Yeah.
But I didn't see the part where it said,
yeah, the
sun and moon on.
So I think it's certain. Yeah, it's certain they're not. I'm pretty sure they're not going to code it in. I think there's probably cards and interactions in black and white that they. I would say maybe this is absolutely just shooting from the hip, but maybe they tried coding in the first place and just couldn't get certain interactions to work out and said, you know what, let's just simplify it. Let's get rid of black and white. Let's get rid of X and Y. Let's just do sun and moon on because there's less interactions and that's easier to code.
I can't think of anything like questionable in game mechanics. The only thing I can think of that would be weird in terms of them coding, it would be like the Team Plasma stuff. Because those cards
are
just Lugia, but they don't say Team Plasma in the name. They don't have it like plastered all over. And then like the Plasma badge where it makes any Pokemon a Plasma Pokemon. Maybe they can't figure something out like that. But like there were A specs. We have A specs now. Whoopee-doo.
Must have been a time crunch, maybe.
Think about it.
Or just instruction straight from TPCI to say, don't include black and white, just do sun and moon.
Probably something like that. Probably said, hey, don't waste the budget on that. Don't waste the money on that. We have a small budget anyway. We're a small startup company.
Yeah.
We're not very big. Don't waste money on that.
I mean, isn't expanded in Japan sun and moon on anyways?
Hey, sorry?
Are they?
I swear they have a sun and moon on format in Japan. I swear.
I don't know.
Let me look.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Okay, well, Mostly was looking that up, and I think there's some abilities in X and Y and black and white that might be kind of difficult for them. What's that clef key that can turn itself into a tool I believe?
Yeah, I know that one. I
can see that like destroying the game. I can see that, messing up something.
Yeah. I mean, that was, again, as I said, shooting from there, but I think it's much more likely that it was just a time crunch thing or a budget thing, and they were just like instructed by TPCI to just not code them in. Not realizing that people want that, there was a loss of legacy format as well, which I know ODF wasn't happy with. That was kind of a problematic thing.
He enjoyed his primes. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I would have tapped into that now. Actually, I didn't tap into it before because back then I was much more focused on just kind of growing the channel, so I didn't really want to do off content. I just wanted to do what I knew would perform the best. But I would tap into that.
You're big enough to make mistakes. Do whatever you want to do now. You and Super big. We get it.
We'll bring you up, guys. We'll bring you up. No,
help me.
You'd have to create content in the first place, Gazer.
Oh, I don't do that.
All right.
Bring my Twitter up.
They're decent. It's better than nothing, and I am happy with it because it gives me some extra content to make potentially. So that's maybe more of a personal thing rather than what the community thinks. I'm sure the community is like,
it gives you more venues to make something different. And I think everyone had fun, at least the first couple of days, making those singleton decks. And I seen like who's that? Jared Grimes with a singleton Shin Pao deck, and because he was Shin Pao's strongest soldier for a while. He's like, my masterpiece is complete, and it looks so bad, but it was hilarious though because it's.
Well, what's funny? What I found really cool about the singleton is a meta formed instantly. Everyone knew that Dragapult Charizard was the best deck in format instantly. Literally, everyone's playing. The first video I made of it was Dragapult Zard. LDF, Dragapult Zard. I think everyone was talking about Dragapult Zard with that with that singleton format, and it made perfect sense, right? But that fascinated me, how instantly there was kind of like a little meta going on, But what's a shame with this is they rotate it out. I would love for them all to just kind of coexist, and they just choose the ones that are the most popular. Maybe if they kind of cycle this through and see which ones get the most plays, and then just go, okay, we'll pick, 3 of those game modes and have them permanently in the game. Because I would love to see limitless tournaments with those formats. Because you can do it on PTCGL. I think that would be so cool.
That'd be interesting. That'll be very interesting.
So we'll see how it goes. But just cycling between them, I can see how it's all right. But there's there's obviously still a lot more that needs to be done, but the updates I think are a net positive.
This can end up being like the Taco Bell menu, where like you get a special hot fire chalupa or a taco or something like that, and then it's gone within a month. Now I want Taco Bell.
Yeah, you're making me want it, bro. I want to. I don't like the afterwards though. You know, it goes in one end and back out the other instantly. So I don't know about that.
Steuben knows all about that. Isn't that true, Steuben? Are you alive?
Yeah. What?
No.
Did you find out that information about Japan for us? What happened?
So they do have 2 different formats that are like less common. But yeah, they do have A on, which the regulation mark A started it with Sun and Moon cards in Japan.
I see.
So that's why like our Sword and Shield started D, E, F. Now we have G, H, I or whatever.
Yeah,
A, B, C were Sun and Moon. So they do have A on format, but then they also have extra regulation, which is black and white on with the ban list. Then there's also Palace format, which allows Diamond and Pearl onwards, but with a point system. And that
sounds cool.
That looks awesome. I'm really like gonna dive into that.
That looks really, really cool.
Are we about to play what'd you say, Platinum? What is it called?
Diamond and
Palace?
Pearl on.
Palace.
Yeah, Palace format, yeah.
We're about to play Palace format? Are we doing this? Palace
Hop on
webcam
Leaf, maybe? Get some Palace up.
Yeah, the technical term for it is Hall of Fame. It was Palace when it was fan made, and then it became the Hall of Fame format.
I see.
Hall of Fame format.
That's
Diamond and Pearl onwards. Okay. That could make for some really interesting interactions. I could see.
There are a handful of banned cards, and then there are cards that have a point value. The last time this was updated was in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
But so they're not really keeping up with it. But like, you're allowed to have so many points in your deck.
I see.
So if you play a copy of Uxie from Diamond and Pearl that has like the setup, like kind of like Shaman, that's 3 points. You're allowed to have 4 points total. So now if you play that Uxie, you could not play Claydol from Diamond and Pearl. But if you wanted to play Shaman EX, that's only a 1 point card.
I get you.
So it seems kind of wild.
That's pretty cool. Seems balanced, actually.
Kind of interesting. So, quick question before we move on to our next topic: what happens when we get to Z? Like
I thought that too. Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, when we get to Z, what do we do? Does it become like A2?
We'll all be dead.
Would be gone. It'd be like AA or something, or like AB and then AC or something. Maybe, I don't know. They'll figure it out. I'm sure that's a long ways away.
That's a long way.
That's a really long time.
There's a long ways, yeah.
Because it's we only get a letter a year.
A letter a year. Yeah, that's true.
And we're on I officially with Journey Together. So yeah, we're not going to be dead, but we'll probably not be playing.
I'll still be going on.
Read our cards by then. Can you read by then?
We'll have Braille TCG cards.
Yeah.
I think I pulled the Charmander. But yeah, you said with Journey Together, we're on I now.
Mm-hmm.
And Journey Together officially released last Friday. Today is Sunday at the time it's recording. Officially released last Friday. And in 2 weeks, or a little less than 2 weeks, it's rotations here. It's going to be legal. This is the new meta we're in. I've been testing. I know others have been testing. With Live now updated, because Live updates way before the actual rotation happens. Everyone's been playing, the new format, the new rotation. Shout out to Senior Doom, Zach Roy. He just had his regional of Doom, and I think our boy Celios, Luke Marza was in the top 4 of that.
I think it's still going on as we're recording. I think it's still happening. Yeah.
Goodness, but yeah, at this time that was the biggest tournament for.
They are in the finals, and rotation. It's not Celios Network, so it's Capador Cards versus Andrew Higher. Not gonna pronounce the name anyways.
But no, I think that's the biggest at the time right now. That's the biggest tournament for the new post rotation.
Yes.
Well, hang on. There's also
a lot of cards.
Yesterday there was a tournament that had 180 players in person.
There was.
Yeah.
They also gave out a nice amount of money as well, and it was won by a 13-year-old.
Oh, you're talking about Full Grip. Yeah.
That I wanted to go to that, but it sold out too fast, and I'm like 45 minutes away from there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Actually quite low.
Oh,
Yeah.
Zubin. You should have went.
It's sold out. What?
Zubin.
Wow.
I can't believe
Not good
this.
enough.
But no, yeah, that was the biggest IRL. I guess technically post rotation because it's not officially post rotation, but I mean, leagues can do whatever they want to do. So yeah, and then the biggest one online was a Tournament of Doom, but post rotation is basically here. It's about to happen. I have one more cup to go to this next Sunday, a week from today. That's gonna be a pre-rotation.
Yeah,
it's the only time they could squeeze their cup in. The next 2 months, the store's jam packed with everything else, and they had to get it in for this last quarter. So it's all pre-rotation. Some people are upset about it, but I'm like, hey, gives me one more chance to assemble Alloy and Star Chronos. So I'm down one last time.
yeah.
But the rotation is here.
Yes.
What is the meta looking like to you guys? What have you guys seen so far? What have you guys thought about, seen, experienced?
Terra Box for sure. I think that's going to be the real one, if I'm honest. It's the one that is the most interesting, and usually is a sign of a very healthy format. Usually when you have a deck that takes a lot to pilot, but it rewards you if you pilot it well and punishes you if you don't, is a deck that doesn't come very often in many formats, but when it does, it's the perfect thing because it genuinely raises the skill ceiling. Because the best deck in format, I believe, is Terra Box if you're good enough to pilot it, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not a deck you could just pick up and play. I tried that.
You got to really give
I
it a
think last
go.
Thursday.
Sequence, yeah.
I played a couple games online with it, and I was like, okay, I got this down. And I built it, and I went to go play it last Thursday IRL, and I misplayed left to right. And then my opponent was playing like a version of that, but he had Azumarill, the one that hits for a 220 or 230 if you have a Terran play. So it's slightly different, but we're both just misplaying left and right. And I'm like, why are we playing this badly? And it's kind of tough to pilot. It can be.
Yeah. It's very, very difficult, but super, super strong, I think.
There's also a lot of variance in the different lists, too.
And that's what I love about it. You're right. I was going to bring that up. There's so many things you can do differently, so many techs, so much variance, so many things you can do just, if I like more Ionos than someone else, if I like more Gusting than someone else, it's so many things you can do different, so many different techs. I've seen a list running 2 Wellspring Ogrepon. I've seen a list running 1. I've seen a list running no Cornerstone. There's so many different things you do different. I love that.
Sanjay's list from the Full Grip tournament, I think he didn't play Teal Mask at all.
No Teal Mask.
Yeah, there was no Teal Mask there. And then there's also the Evolutions Terra Box too.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of
you sit behind an Eevee and then you evolve into the Flareon and charge up other stuff.
Yeah. It's really, really interesting. And interesting to see where it goes as new sets come out. But I think Terra Box is definitely the best one. Personally, best second format. Dragapult's hanging about still. I think that's a deck where if you're not so confident in your ability, I think that's a deck you can pick up. Because it's so understood now and so figured out that we're almost at the perfect 60.
A deck you could just hand anyone though. Charizard.
I mean,
I love Charizard, but Charizard, hey, buddy, take this Charizard deck, go play games, and they might win a league night. They might top a cup, with it. They might even go 5-2-2 at a regional with it. Charizard was kind of easier to figure out. Meanwhile, Dragapult, you have to do math. You have to put numbers here. Damage has to go here. You have to think ahead of turns. Then people have Monkey Dory. You have to think about their Monkey Dory. You have to think turns ahead. And in Terra Box, we talked about how difficult that is. I think Dragapult is still kind of hard to pilot. It's not just.
Oh, well, yeah, I wouldn't say it's not hard. I'm saying in comparison to Terra Box, it's a good one to kind of pick up and learn and understand because there's a lot more fundamentals that are needed for playing something like Dragapult. Whereas Zard is the beginner-friendly deck, I think. It's the one where it's self-sufficient. It kind of does its own thing. You don't need to do too much just to play it. And it's relatively strong itself. So I think it's a fantastic beginner. I mean, it's something that's good there. But I think Dragapult, in comparison to Terra Box, is something where if you're not as confident in your sequencing ability, then it's definitely something to learn more about that. So I think it's just a step below in terms of difficulty from a Terra Box. But obviously, it's still hard. Yeah, of course. That's just natural. But being able to exist in a format where you can pretty much just function pretty comfortably under Badoo. Item lock in it with a Dragapult deck, it's actually a lot more difficult to function in Terra Box under an item lock, obviously, because you're going to need a lot of items and stuff early on. I mean, obviously you can just crisp in crystal and off you pop, but there's a lot more sequencing there. There's a lot more item reliance in comparison to something like Dragapult. So I think in this kind of format coming up, I think Dragapult's definitely an easier pickup, but Terra Box I think is the better one. That's kind of where I would stand.
Yeah,
and then you got all the other ones below it.
I agree. And like a lot of people too will like look at Japanese data, but like you have to consider too that they already have Heatwave Arena, and that Shaman just sends Terabox down a lot.
Yeah, literally. It's a temporary diff, I think.
Yeah. It's insane. Yeah. It's insane that with that Shaman just turns it off.
It's crazy what bench barrier does, right? It leaves the format. Next thing you know, the bench snipe decks are like, yeah, all right, here we come. We're now the best deck. I mean, Rapid Strike Urshifu was a fantastic example, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing.
As soon as Manaphy came out,
small window without Manaphy.
Yeah, and as soon as it came out, Rapid Strike Urshifu just died.
Yep.
You know? So it's a similar thing. It's a temporary format, but I think Terabox and I think Wellspring plays a massive part in that. Is definitely the best deck in format. So I can't wait for Shaman because as a rogue deck creator,
you need to be able to protect those random weenies.
I need bench barrier, bro. Yeah. I need bench barrier. Really, like, bro. Those months with like Urshifu around, it was terrible. It was terrible as a rogue deck creator, man. So I can't wait for Shaman.
Yeah, we'll get that in a couple months. Heatwave Arena, was just fully revealed and fully, put out in Japan a week ago.
I'm not sure.
They're working on their Team Rocket set, the Gloria Team Rocket. All that's going to be combined into our Desert Rivals. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that set. That set's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I can get a pack, that'd be nice.
You'll come on, man. You'll get some stuff, man. You say you have a shop now you can go to. You have some locals to play with. You've been playing IRL a lot more than the very first time we met you. You had no physical cards at all. I think.
Yeah.
They had maybe a few collector, cards for like collection, like you had no decks. Yeah, that's what it was. You had no physical decks. You had nothing at all.
Nothing.
And then the next time we talked to you, you had went to like a couple locals. I think you went to like a smaller regional, and no, nothing. The second time? Are you sure?
Yeah. I went to a pre-release, and that was it. Yeah.
Really? Oh, okay. But since then, I've seen the growth of through following you through Twitter and living through you through Twitter. I've been seeing you went to this, you've done this and that, and recently you hit a pretty big event.
I'm sorry to break it to you, Gazer, but I didn't compete at UIC.
But you went.
I went, yes.
But you went. I know you didn't, but you went.
Oh, I did play there actually, but it was like on a side event thing. So I did actually play standard in a side event. Yeah. Okay. I didn't actually compete at EUIC.
I didn't say you competed. I said you went.
I did go, yeah. That was such a cool time. Oh my God. For me, it was much more about meeting people, socializing. Like I met LDF for the first time there. I
love the picture.
I met Bertz. I met Bertz there for the first time. Briefly saw Omnipoke, ran into JW, just said hello to him. There's a lot of people I just kind of saw and met there that I knew of for so long. I was like really, really cool to just meet. So a lot of it was just meeting people and socializing and meeting a lot of fans. Like I was surprised by how many people stopped me and said hello and, wanted to take a picture, have a card signed or something like that. And so many great people I had a chat with about different things. It was genuinely a really, really cool experience. And it was nice to be able to get to play as well. That was good fun. But for me, it was much more meeting people and experiencing things, man, because that was so awesome. Really, really cool.
I don't know why you're surprised about why so many people said you're popular. You're popular. What are you surprised about?
It was a lot more than what it was the last time I went to UIC. And I was like, whoa, okay, this is like really, really awesome. And it genuinely just reminded me that I have every time it does, it really reminds me I have a genuine impact on people. And that kind of like backtracking a bit was a big motivator for posting the video before about how things weren't going so well. Because I felt I owed it to them because these are people who genuinely like watch me and have me as an outlet for whatever they've got going on in their life, And I know that's like typical talk you hear from all creators, but to see that actually in the flesh, people who are gobsmacked or starstruck to be around you and say how much like your content helps them. It's genuinely so fulfilling and it lights a fire in you. So for me, that was genuinely the best part. And it was great. There were some people really happy because when me and LDF met up, right, and as we know, a lot of our fan base cross over, right? So when me and LDF met up, we met up like right in the center of, so in the venue, there was obviously where you play, right? So you got all the tables and stuff. And then to the back, like left side, there's like, some bits and bobs. You can get some like bubble tea and you can play around there. And there's like little activities and stuff and card shops and all that. We were standing right in the middle cross section between the two where people would just kind of be crossing over. And so we were just chilling there. So many people came up to us and were like, "Oh my god, can we get a picture of you together?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay, let's go." There's so many cool people, man.
I bet you a lot of people walked over. They're like, oh, like oh my gosh,
some people like,
yeah,
yeah, bless.
They hit the LDF pog face. They saw you too. They.
Well, a lot of them are blessed. A lot of them were quite nervous, and I was like, "Come on, let's go. It's fine." I've had a lot of people say since that they did see me as well, but didn't come up to me because they were nervous and stuff. And I always reiterate, like, it's fine. Just say hello, man. Don't get
people say that before too, and I'm nowhere on your level, but I've also had the same thing.
Just don't care what I'm doing.
So when I went to NAIC, back in 2023.
Yeah,
that's my first IC, and I went to a couple of regionals that year, but that was my first IC. And at the regionals, people came up and said hi, and your Gazer, I love the podcast. But at NAIC, I met LDF for the first time. We talked, we hung out, and I scrubbed out. I've started 3-1, and I lost like my next 3. So I was like, oh, I'm dropping, I'm done. So I scrubbed out, and then LDF didn't do so well, so he scrubbed out. So we're talking, we got something to eat real quick, we're eating, we're chilling, and then people are like coming up to like, can I get a picture real quick? Hey, can I just have a big fan? Get a picture of the LDF. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's what I expect. And I had a couple people come up to me, and I was like, oh wow, okay. And then so I was like, can I get a picture of you guys together? And I was like, okay, so
that's cool. What you're saying.
But then just after that, he and I walked back into the venue, the main venue, and we met up with Birds. We met up with Hot Shock, Slowpoke, whatever you want to call him. Shay. He's got like 8 different names. So we met up with him, and then we also met up with I don't know if you know Julian J Love.
Yes, J Love. Yes,
yeah. We met up with J Love, and the 4 of us just talked for like 2 hours about like what you said, content creation. What it's like. And this is 2 years ago, so what it's like, content creation, where we're doing, who's doing what. And that's when Burt's was like, I'm really going to focus on my YouTube channel now. I really want to focus more on this. And he was, and now he's doing really well. But at first I was like, I want to get more into it. I want to focus more. And it was a good conversation, man. And just ICs are special. I took my stepdaughter to an IC for the first time last year, 2024, and she had been to a few regionals, but she went to IC first time. She's like, this is amazing. This is like, she's just like looking around and like, oh, and I was like, yeah, ICs are different. They just hit differently. So
they do.
Yeah, you went to EUIC the last 2 years, haven't you?
Yeah, last 2 years. This one's definitely been the most impactful.
Yeah, this one was definitely. I could tell from your Twitter stories. This one hit differently. I could tell. I'm happy for you.
Such a vibe. Again, I got to meet. I shouted out before Game Boy Luke. Got to meet him, and we got on like a house on fire. And had a real good talk about content and just hung out a lot of the time. And that's actually funny. We were hanging out, and I got to meet. I don't know if you heard of. They haven't done content for a while, but they were called Uncertified Fire. They're like British creators.
No,
two people who are making videos and stuff. Met them as well. And so, listen, they were so nice. We were able to. I didn't really have. I had my Archaladon deck with me, which is what I just brought to play. Archaladon Dialga to play in that kind of like side event.
So you like the Symbol Alloy too? Okay.
Yeah, mate, that was my favorite deck. And so I just had that deck with me, but I was speaking to Uncertified Fire, and they had some other decks and stuff like that. So let's play some games, and I just said to Luke, "Hey, come over, let's play some games." And so he came over and was sitting here playing the TCG, and then we was doing that as the finals was about to begin. And then we're like, okay, we'll finish this game, and then we'll go and watch the finals, and then the game's done. The donks happen, and we're like, we haven't even finished our game. What? And then we just went over there and we're like, okay, well, that's that. Great stuff. But a huge shout out to Uncertified Fire, because they were there to give us like the decks to play with and stuff, and were really cool. And I got to chill with them for a bit as well and play with them too. So it's a really, really cool time to just be around so many like-minded people who
it really is.
Who also recognize you and I respect what you do. It's such a cool environment really to be in. So yeah, the second UIC was definitely the biggest.
Yeah, I know you enjoyed it. I was watching your Twitter. I was living through your Twitter. I was watching that, and then when you posted, it's like he met LDF, but no. But Steuben, if you're alive over there, I know the regionals you've been to. You've heard the same things. You're Steuben. I listened to the podcast. I've seen your video, but imposter syndrome. You suffer with that for a second, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I mentioned that a little bit ago, but yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah,
but it's always nice to get like that validation too from people out in the wild.
Yeah.
Wild are the animals?
You are.
You're a filthy animal. No, it's 100%. It's nice to get that. Yeah, it's really, really cool, man. I don't have too much of an imposter syndrome issue, to be fair, on my end. Maybe that'll come in the future. To be honest with you.
I think I experienced once, I normally don't have it that much too, but I know you felt it heavily, at one
What
point
is
in
imposter
time.
syndrome? Just so I can understand it better.
Like it's like the sense of like I don't deserve any of this.
I don't belong. I shouldn't
don't
be.
belong.
I'm just a regular guy. You shouldn't. Why are you so excited to see me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like I'm not
Oh, no.
worthy.
I see.
That kind of vibe.
Yeah. I'm not sitting there going, I'm worthy. I'm the best. No, obviously not. But no, it's not something I struggle too much with. I
had that happen. Okay, I take that back. Twice to me. One time at a regional, I had a longtime viewer in my stream and listening to the podcast come up, and he was like, "Are you Gazer?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man." Like we had messaged earlier, and I was like, "Yeah, let's meet up over here." And we couldn't meet up for whatever reason. Like I missed him, he missed me, but we finally met up. He's like, "Are you Gazer?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like shaking to shake my hand, and I'm like, "Buddy, I'm just a dude. I'm just a guy. Man, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
And then the other time was I was at a cup, and this cup was stacked. It was Charlie Locker. Charlie Locker's like a perennial like top 8 finisher at regionals. And then Vance Kelly was Worlds 2022. Yeah. He I had to play against him. And then apparently there was a senior that I didn't even know was this good. The senior had won like 3 or 4 regionals, Worlds competitor a few times. And he was like, we sat down to play, and he's like, "Are you really Gazer Beam?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, man, it's me. I am that guy. Yeah, I am that guy." He's like, "I thought so." He said, "My friends were like, I think that's Gazer." I was like, "No, that can't be Gazer. I'm gonna ask." And I'm like, "Your friends know who I am? Like, how do you know who I am?" Twitter, and that's when I realized I was Twitter famous. But at the time, I didn't realize. I was like, "Is my Twitter that like? Is it that popular with people?" So I played the kid, and I'm playing Archdaladon. I proceed to get like rolled by him. It's like 2 prizes to 6, and I make a wild comeback. No idea how. I guess taking an extra turn makes a difference. Dialga.
But yeah, I mean,
I come back and I took another. Let me get another turn. Let me get one of those. But yeah. So I proceed to beat him, and I'm like, "Hey, let me follow you back on your Twitter." I'm trying to be like, hey, you don't want to, I didn't know who this kid was. Like, let me just follow the kid back. Might make his day. I follow the kid back. This kid. That's when I found out he's like a 4-time regional winner, Worlds competitor. Got top 8 one time. I'm like, this kid is, and he was excited to meet me, and that's what I felt. Was like, I'm nobody compared to this kid. Why is he excited to meet me? So imposter syndrome is real. It's cool to go to these events and see people and meet people, but sometimes you feel like I'm just a guy. Sometimes,
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky enough to have a good amount of people around me who maybe can understand a bit more about that. I mentioned Luke. Do you guys know Anthony Fantano, Needle Drop?
Mm-hmm.
Know him? So he's reached out to me as well. So I spoke to him a bit. He reached out to me, gave me some good advice after I uploaded that video, the sad one. He reached out to me, gave some good advice there as well. So I've got a good people around me that are supportive. If I was ever to kind of experience something like that or be in a bit of a tricky spot. So I think having people around you who understand that is a massive part of kind of experiencing those kind of things. So it's important to. That's why I think it's important to voice it and talk about it, because and I know it's all typical cliche stuff that everyone says this kind of stuff, but it is truly important because you'll realize that there are people who relate and actually experience similar things, and even if they don't, they just care enough to reach out and just help you out a little bit, have a chat with you. Like, that's so important because a lot of people think they're the only ones experiencing something like that, and the next thing you know, you voice it somewhere, and then there's so many people who relate and just want to help out. And I think that's the importance of it, because these issues exist. The imposter syndrome, burnout, they're all real things. And I think you got to do it humbly too. You can't just sit here and be like, "Oh, life's so hard. I make YouTube videos for a living." But because obviously you got to be humble. There's people who live much harder lives, but that aside, I think that's the wrong way to go. Naturally, I don't think you should compare to other people. It's not we're not having a competition to who's suffering the most. Like, why is that? Why are we doing that? So I think
it's Gazer. I vote for Gazer. He's suffering.
Yeah.
I want to see him suffer more.
But no, in all seriousness, it's good to have people around it. And I think this year has been the year where, oh my God, my head. Look at that. This year's been the year where, sorry, I'm going to do it because I can't be taken seriously like that, can I? If you tweeted to I'm distracting myself.
Hang on. Once
you said it, I was staring at it. I can't lie. I was like, let me fix your hair. So you got a little something on the top.
Go ahead, get it for me, Gazer. Go ahead.
Hold on. All right.
Oh,
there
perfect.
you go.
Perfect. Thanks.
Oh, you look beautiful. There you go. Look at that beautiful face. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, it's good to have a support network around you with that kind of stuff. And it's good to talk about and be open with, and not, as I said, compare all that kind of jazz. Just be honest, and you'll realize how many people are around you to kind of have your back, so to speak. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is having like-minded people around you who get it. I think that's been so helpful to me.
Yeah, that's
huge. Here
huge.
first on the podcast, Sean for the win is elitist. He feels like only hanging around a certain amount of group of people is.
Oh yeah, give me all of them. I want to have all the big people around me. No, it doesn't matter. It's like anyone
from me.
Yeah, no, anyone who just gets it, anyone who's just on that level in terms of just understanding the impact of this kind of lifestyle. And you guys are very similar in that sense too. So it's nothing about that. I'm just saying people who have the same goals and aspirations.
No, you're right.
And have the same dreams.
I consider you like a good pokey friend. So
yeah.
Like I love our banter when we're in Trust Your Pilot stream or something like that, or over Twitter. I love our banter like that. So
yeah. That's Pilot. He reached out to me as well. Like Pilot's, he's so cool, man. He's so cool. We've talked a lot here and there about things and stuff, and it's funny because he's exactly like he is on his streams. Literally the same. It's just poor Pilot. It's funny, he still does his little puns and stuff in our chats and everything. He's got his like innuendo jokes. He still does it. He takes it all the way. So bless his heart, man.
I watched a few of his YouTube videos, and these are pre-recorded. He's recording them. He has a script, and I'm like, this is just what he would say on his stream. I'm like, he's just going like, it's the same vibe. What is he doing?
Says it in a private chat. So there you are. I've leaked it. He's the real deal. I won't leak the feet pics, so don't worry.
We're trying to get the face reveal exclusive to the podcast.
Oh my gosh! If we break that, if we crack that, oh my gosh!
Nah, I doubt he will. If he does, though, hey, fair play, man. Fair play. It'd be nice to actually see him because I see him as a mate as well. And it'd be nice to actually meet him at some point.
Yeah,
but
it would be.
He doesn't really get out to do a lot of that stuff. But no, he reached out as well, and he was quite cool. So yeah, it's really neat, man. It's really neat to have loads of people around, kind of talk and stuff. And I think it needs to be done more, man. I think we need to be a bit more connected in this community.
I agree. There's like the unspoken like rivalries and like there's always some sort of beef or drama, especially on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, so, I know that, man.
The less of that, the better off we all are collectively.
Yeah, there are times actually where I've seen something like a bit hot topic, and I'm like, I'll make a tweet about it, and I'm like, I stop myself and go, nah, like I just don't want this energy. Like,
yeah,
a couple of things, I mean, I'll tweet some things here and there, but they're a bit more. They're nothing really too crazy, just kind of jumping in, giving my 2 cents on a topic like scalping or something, But I won't go too deep or try and drive anyone crazy. Because Twitter, bro, it's not real, man. It's just not real. It's not representative of the real world at all. Like you don't go out in your day-to-day life and have that much negativity. It just doesn't exist. It's not real.
You have to go like actively seeking like just unpositive things for
it's like you open your timeline and
go looking for it.
It literally takes a few seconds to see someone arguing about something, and it's very easy to get hooked into it because it's usually about something you're interested in because the algorithm wants you to stay on, so they're going to give you what you're interested in. What gets the most interaction is things that make you angry that you're interested in because that gets the most retweets. That's what gets you typing. That's what keeps you on for longer. So it's designed to keep you on that way. It's what news is based on. The whole point of news, the reason why news is always negative is because that gets the most reactions. No one cares about happy news because you're not going to talk about it. You think that's fine. So Twitter's the same thing. It's not real, man. It's just arrived to get anger out of you.
No, you're right. Happy news or just positive stuff, they're not as impactful. You're like, oh wow, that's great, and then it's afterthought after like a minute. Yeah. But meanwhile, someone says something that really riles you up or something that really like you really care about. It's like, oh, I'm mad about that. I got to say something about this, and then someone else wants to say something. It goes back and forth. And you're right.
Yeah, it's complete human nature. Because like if you think about it, if there's something in your life that isn't a problem, you don't need to attend to it. Whereas if something is a problem, you do. So something that brings negative emotion tells yourself, hey, I need to attend to this, so you're more likely to do something about it. Whereas if something's fine, you're not going to waffle about that kind of stuff because you're good,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of just like a lot of good things that just go unnoticed because of so much negativity online. And we really need more positivity and inclusion.
I think honesty is the word, just openness and honesty and self-care, sitting there recognizing the difference between the real world and on your phone,
Acceptance too. We have to understand that everyone's not going to agree with our, how we see things, and we can't agree with everyone else, and we have to accept that. Because you can have someone who's, like you said, we have more honesty. You can have someone honest, but they're still just like, well, I don't care if that's how you feel. This is, how it is, and this, I don't accept how you feel. We need acceptance. We need honesty. We need a lot more positivity.
We need people to ban Gazer Beam from their Twitch chats.
I think that's one thing that most people would agree with. You're right. I think most people agree with that. I know.
Get him out of there.
Good old son.
Oh man. Yeah, but it is what it is.
But yeah, I think that's a good place to leave it off here. Just we want more positivity in this Pokemon community and just on Twitter overall, and just this was a good episode. I think I like this one. Steven, what your thoughts on this, man?
I wish I didn't feel like crap physically, but I feel good mentally after our conversation.
I'm glad.
That's good. That's good, man. See, that's good. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Anytime we have you on, Sean, it's a good time.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I have fun as well, of course.
Anytime. Take a second to plug everything, any shout outs, sponsors, so on and so forth. We'll have all that linked in the show notes and order description, depending on what platform people are listening and or watching on.
Okay. Yeah, it's just following TCG on YouTube. That's pretty much the main spot. So yeah, thank you very much for having me on.
Goodbye, everybody.
What all the sponsors you reel off in your beginning of your videos and all that? Before we start the video, I'd like to thank
Oh, what sponsors? What?
Yeah, just everything. Hey, come on.
I don't need to run on sponsors. That's fine. That's for my channel. It's okay. It's okay. If they want to pay me more,
before we start the video today, I love what you said. Yeah. I'm like, here he goes.
If they want you to get money out of the podcast, you come to the wrong podcast.
Oh man, yeah, I don't need to shout out no sponsors. That's fine. That's fine. Save that slot for when you get some. Yeah.
Well, Gazer's tried. Gazer's tried real hard.
Yeah, bless. Yeah.
I've tried like 4 different things. Nothing's working.
Someday, Gazer, someone will
I'm gonna break
you.
that ceiling. I'm gonna break that ceiling one day.
They'll respect us enough one day to give you something. Until then, that's it from us here at the Gust of Wind. Take care of yourselves.
Bye.
See you guys.